Hello, everyone. I hope you are having a wonderful day. My name is Nishan, and today I've got an interesting topic for you. I want to talk about Master and Commander: The Far Side of the World. And FYI, that is my favorite film. Obviously, I have a lot of favorite films, but this one is in my top three. And you know which one I'm talking about, the one with Russell Crowe. It's set during the Napoleonic Wars, and it's one of those movies that everyone who's seen it seems to love, but unfortunately, nobody talks about it anymore. Or at least, at least film scholars talk about it, but the regular people don't talk about it as much as I think it should be talked about. And it's a shame because that movie is amazing. And obviously, I'm going to dive deeper into why. And so today's topic is, should there be a sequel? Or is that just a bad idea? Let's break that down. So, if you haven't been living under a rock for the past 20 years, you will know that the world of cinema is full of remakes and sequels, and there are good ones and there are bad ones. So, and there's also everything in between. Whenever a movie does well, studios almost instantly start thinking, can we make another one? Let's make another one, profit. Sometimes they even make sequels to bad films, hoping that maybe lightning will strike on the second attempt. But then you've got a movie like Master and Commander, where the question isn't could they make a sequel, but rather should they? When Master and Commander came out, the cinema movies landscape was packed with big blockbusters. Think about Kingdom of Heaven, Troy, Gladiator, Pirates of the Caribbean, Lord of the Rings, just to name a few. Every studio was chasing that mix of critical acclaim and box office hit, of course. And while Master and Commander did get great reviews and a loyal fan base, it didn't exactly dominate the box office. It made its money back. Well, if I look at the stats over here, they made about 211 million on a 150 million dollar budget, which isn't bad, you know? But it's not enough, to scream franchise. In addition, Master and Commander had some brutal competition when it came out. Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King swept the Oscars, and there was also Pirates of the Caribbean: The Curse of the Black Pearl, which drove and stole all the attention for the adventure on the high seas crowd. So, yeah, bad timing, I guess. Despite all that, Master and Commander has cultivated this massive reputation, and fans and critics are calling it the most underrated film of all time. And honestly, it deserves that title. The cinematography, the attention to historical accuracy and detail, and also the sound design were out of this world. They were literally top tier. It's also one of the rare masculine adventure type of stories where the relationships are about friendship, duty, respect, and leadership. And all of this within the chaos of war. Those are all timeless themes, and they're very relevant today. Let's segue into something that's pretty important, and that is money, because that's what decides everything in Hollywood. The film didn't really have much in the way of merchandising. There were no toys, no video games, no other types of, t-shirts, apparel, and if there were, they were pretty rare. It was just DVD and streaming. Compare that to Pirates of the Caribbean, which had the merchandise empire with the Legos, the toys, the t-shirts, the posters, the soundtrack, the DVDs, everything. They were on top of their game. So yeah, Master and Commander wasn't a big commercial commodity, but that's what makes it special. It wasn't trying to sell you something, it was just trying to tell you a damn good story. Another thing that sets it apart was how it was made. Peter Weir, the director, and his crew went all in when it came to realism. They used a full-scale, real-life ship, they went on the ocean to shoot, and they used a lot of practical effects. That's a style of filmmaking that's almost extinct today. apart for certain exceptions, Christopher Nolan. Thank you very much for your contribution to cinema. And look at what the audiences are responding to now. Oppenheimer, for example. Nowadays, people are getting an appetite for films that feel real and obviously look real also. So if Master and Commander's sequel kept that grounded and authentic style of filmmaking, it might stand out in today's CGI-heavy landscape. Here's where it gets tricky. Financially, yeah, it's a big risk. Studios don't usually throw a boatload of cash on sequels for a 20-year-old film, but creatively, there is a real case for it. The story isn't finished. The books it's based on go way beyond what we saw in the film. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that the movie was a total flop. During the Oscars, it was nominated for more than 10 categories. I'll name them. Best Sound Editing, Best Cinematography, Best Picture, Best Director, Best Visual Effects, Best Film Editing, Best Costume Design, Best Makeup and Hairstyling, Best Production Design, and Best Sound Mixing. And at the end of the night, they were able to win Best Cinematography and Best Sound Editing. So that's far from a failure. And Peter Weir was also awarded the BAFTA Award for Best Director. So the film did hit its mark. But just imagine what would have happened if, let's say, Lord of the Rings wasn't there in that year. Now, obviously, I don't want to delete Lord of the Rings, I love it. But let's just say Master and Commander came 1 year later or 1 year before. Maybe it could have won and swept the Oscars like The Return of the King did. Now, obviously, should there be a sequel, there are some hard facts to take into account. The original cast has gotten older. Russell Crowe doesn't look like what he used to back in 2003. And it's natural, it's normal. They could use this as an excuse to conclude the story. For example, by focusing on the last book, for example, and finding a way to conclude these characters' stories. Plus, imagine the buzz if they announce it. Russell Crowe returns to the sea after 20 years to reprise his role. Wouldn't that be amazing? And if they do it right, keep the same tone, use practical effects, and respect the source material, it could be both a critical win and a financial one also. At the end of the day, filmmaking is always a gamble. Even great films fail to hit their numbers, unfortunately, and mediocre ones do, surprisingly. But Master and Commander is one of those rare cases where art and craftsmanship come before profit. They have their priorities straight. So yeah, should there be a sequel? For money? Nah. But for the love of cinema? Hell yeah. If you enjoyed this breakdown, leave a like, subscribe if you want. Let me know in the comments down below if you would like to see a sequel for Master and Commander, or if it should stay a one-of-a-kind classic. On that note, have a good day, guys. Bye-bye.